You're listening to Packers Talk Network.
Do you want to experience the thrill of a Packers game at Lambeau Field? If so, be sure to get your game tickets from the longtime trusted source in Wisconsin, Ticket King. Visit their locations in Milwaukee and Green Bay, or just go to their website, theticketking.com. Again, that's theticketking.com.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
All right, Jordan, I emailed you that question.
Take a look at the 5 and 10.
On your old front door. There's always
Yes,
a
it's
lot of
Christmas.
things like Christmas.
Once
So many
more.
So I'd like to buy those.
Oh no! No! Oh my God! another example of Jordan not being there for us.
Check New York Bozo! New York Bozo! New York Bozo!
I got to get my biceps a little bigger.
Yeah, you can always work on that.
Or I could sure use a hot dog with chili.
You know what time the game starts? Hey, you got any left-handed footballs? We need to fire him. Is anybody else tired, or is it just me? Good thing I'm in shape. You got any eligibility left? I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
Good evening, Packer Nation. Welcome back to another edition of Pack to the Future podcast. I am your host, John Jameson, and it is great to be back talking Packers football with the best in the business, Brian Fonfera. How are you doing tonight? I didn't mean to say your name first, even though you could arguably be the best in the business at Packers podcasting.
There's really no way to tell for sure, I guess. So, I mean, stranger things have happened.
There is. I mean, I feel like there's a sabermetrics for rating podcasters.
Is there a section of Pro Football Focus where they give podcast ratings on a weekly basis?
Yeah, you got like a 4. You got a 4.
But what is it out of?
I think John got a 92. So I mean,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Reggie White, baby. Reggie White. If you say my name followed by 92, that is the greatest compliment I could ever receive. So thank you, Jordan. You just won the first coin toss.
Yes. I think the message that I just got is that I am the Don Barclay of Packers podcasting.
Well, Brian, your name was synonymous with the number 4. So how could you sit here and pretend like you were a Don Barclay when you are clearly Brett Favre?
I feel all warm and fuzzy inside now.
What number is James Starks? I think that's what Brian is. Is that 28?
Brian's like Brett Favre, but like after he tore that thing in his shoulder in his season with the Jets, like that's the version of Brett Favre that Brian is.
Brian, just test out this line. Y'all have any left-handed microphones?
Y'all and me. Let me try that again. Pause. Y'all have any left-handed microphones?
That's not bad. That's
good. That's good.
And just to let you guys know, there are 2 other people that podcast with us. One of them is Dusty Evesley. Dusty!
Hey, what's up, fellas? Hey, I'm doing good, but we got 3-game winning streak, man. 3 games.
Woo!
We beat the brakes off the Seahawks. Like I got a lot of vacation time. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good.
I love that, Dusty. Jordan?
Guys, Victory Monday has carried over into Victory Tuesday. I feel great.
And Victory Wednesday and Thursday.
It's just gonna keep going. So
let's just call it Victory December.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm. I had the privilege of being at the game on Sunday, and I will tell you what. I don't know if I've been to Packers playoff games before at Lambeau, and I don't know. There was just something in the air that night. Evening.
The stars were bright, Fernando.
Oh, But boy, did the Packers sure ever lay the smackdown on the dreaded Seattle Seahawks. And that has us all jacked up, as you can tell. And we are ready to talk about what the future holds for the Packers. And we're going to start that off by continuing on into our patented coin toss segments. And the first question I'm going to ask is going to be a toss-up between Jordan and Brian. And that is Aaron Rodgers a legitimate MVP candidate this season? So, if I flip a coin and it is heads, Jordan, you will tell me that Aaron Rodgers is a legit MVP candidate this season. And it is heads. Jordan, legit MVP candidate Aaron Rodgers.
Well, if he comes through on his claim of running the table, particularly making that comment after we had lost 4 in a row, coming off a very bad loss to the Washington Redskins. I mean, I don't know about you guys. Watching that game, the season was absolutely done for me at that point. And the Packers have responded, have won 3 in a row, and a lot of that credit has to go to the guy playing quarterback. I mean, he's been playing out of his mind. The stats speak for themselves. I think they've said over the last 8 games, he's got a passer rating over 110. He's thrown for the most touchdown passes of any quarterback this season. This is with a lot of mediocre games early on in the year, but it's a lot of times MVP races are decided by how you finish a season. And if Rodgers can continue to put forth amazing performances in these last 3 games and help get this team to the playoffs, boy, I'm not going to say he's going to win it, but he's going to be close. He's going to be right up there with the guys they're talking about. When, you talk about Zeke, you talk about Brady, talk about Stafford and Carr. I mean, there's absolutely no reason why Rodgers shouldn't be in that discussion with the way he's played. He's clearly the most valuable player on our team. When he's playing well, this team is different. So if you go by the definition of the award, most valuable, I mean, he is one of, if not the most valuable player in this league.
Brian?
I have 2 words for why he's not an MVP candidate. Jay Cutler. No, but to use
just give the point to Brian.
To flip the switch and use Jordan's word against him, he had to use the word if. And really the only argument that I can make against Rodgers being in the MVP discussion is his team's not in the playoffs right now. If the season ended today, you're looking at playoff teams when you're looking for players that are going to be MVPs. And there's still work to be done. The stats speak for themselves, of course. They're all there. But this team has to overcome, we have to surpass 2 other teams at least just to make the playoffs still. So until that happens, and if we run the table, I feel very confident that we will. But until that happens, probably can't talk about a playoff missing quarterback being the MVP. So run the table, win 2 out of 3, whatever it takes, get into a playoff position, and to take a team from 4-6 to the playoffs and to have all the stats that he has, leading the NFL in touchdowns is freaking awesome for a guy who 2 months ago we were just talking about what's wrong with him, where's his head, what's going on. Kind of a lower sect of Packer fans calling for him to be benched and sending death threats to his girlfriend and crap like that. For him to go from that to where he's at right now is incredible. So get into that playoff, and I would call him a very legitimate contender, but he's got to get there first.
Brian, I was actually very interested to see where you're going to go with that very difficult question that was posed to you. And I felt you brought up pretty much the only justifiable case to represent your point. So for that, I'm going to give you the first victory of the evening.
Suck it, Jordan.
So you're saying that you hate Aaron Rodgers, John?
No, I'm just saying you didn't do a good job representing him. So,
no pity points for you this week.
Those days are long. I enjoyed them while they lasted.
Yes, I am ruthless tonight. So the next question I got, Jordan, unfortunately you are going to be back in this one. And Dusty, we're gonna introduce Dusty into the coin toss segment.
Hey, guys. I'm here.
And the question is very simple. do the Packers, or we'll put it this way, do the Packers bring back Eddie Lacy next season? So, with that being said, if I flip the coin, Dusty, and it is heads, you will tell me that the Packers should bring back Eddie Lacy next year. And it is tails. Dusty, the Packers should not bring back Eddie Lacy next year.
I mean, for me, this comes down more or less to what his price tag may be. He's been injured. We've talked before on this show about how he's kind of struggled with his weight a little bit. That's something everyone kind of knows and jokes about. The insensitive ones joke about that. I like to eat as well, Eddie. You can be friends with me.
China food.
There's no doubt, man. Lacy has been great his time in Green Bay. Like, not just out of the backfield, not running the ball, but also catching the ball. Like, he's for his size, he's a quick guy. He's got good hands. He's very, very good when he's in there. But his rookie deal's up. He's going to be looking for a new deal. All it takes is one team willing to pay for him. And granted, he's been injured this season. But you know he's going to be healthy, and he's coming off a fairly big rest. He's getting surgery, all of that stuff. He's going to be very good, I think, for a long time. Maybe not a ton of time given his weight, but he's going to be a very good back. Someone's going to pay money for that. The cap's going to be going up. The Packers traditionally do not spend a whole lot of money, especially on running backs. I remember when Starks was up and they let Starks test the market. He didn't get what he wanted, and they signed him back on a cheap deal. Lacy's talent and what he's done in the NFL alone so far through 4 years, I think, are enough for someone to throw a big deal on him. For me, that's it. I love Ty Montgomery. McCarthy said this week that Montgomery is their starting running back, or he is a running back that apparently has not been in receiver meetings in weeks, if you believe what McCarthy is saying. I love Montgomery as a running back. What he can bring back there, and then also in the receiving game is dynamite. And I really like what we've seen out of Michael so far. And we haven't seen a ton out of Michael, but I think that's going to be enough. I think they're going to be able to bring him back on a cheap deal. I mean, for me, that's really what it comes down to, is the money. Like, I love Eddie Lacy. I hope they can bring him back. I don't think they're going to pay out the money that some other team out there is going to.
All right, Jordan?
Well, I would agree. I hope the Packers don't dish out money for him, but there's a couple reasons that I think they might. More than a 1 year deal. For me personally, if they're going to bring Lacy back, it's got to be like on a 1 year deal. Prove it. Prove that you're healthy. Prove that you can still be effective after this injury. And I agree with you in the fact that it takes one team to make an offer, and I think that'll probably happen. But the thing I would say is that the Packers, and particularly McCarthy and Thompson, they love guys that are a familiar part of this offense, and Lacy's been part of this team for 4 seasons now. So I think to get him back in the offense, this is a guy that knows what's happening. I think they're probably intrigued, as most Packer fans would be, on having Lacy and Montgomery as a backfield tandem. I mean, you got a lot of possibilities with that. I think that might be something that excites Thompson, and McCarthy. I mean, who wouldn't be excited by that? You don't want the Packers to overspend, but you talk about Christine Michael. I don't know if he's done it. He certainly hasn't done enough yet. Maybe he proves us wrong and blows it up the next 3 games, and we sign him, and it's Montgomery and Michael moving forward into next season. But I think there's a very good chance, if Lacy shows himself to be healthy, that the Packers make an offer and keep him around.
Goodness gracious, Lord Almighty! You guys both absolutely rocked that coin toss.
I don't like that you're so surprised when we do well.
I feel no, don't take it that way. I'm
you
just
guys,
like,
seriously,
you can't tell us how to
gosh.
take it.
I can't believe it. I can't believe you guys did coherent arguments. I don't believe it.
Guys, what you said was coherent, succinct. Like, I understood the vocabulary. It was amazing.
I've never heard anything like it before. It's really impressive.
No, it's
impressive, guys.
It's like there's times where I'm like, you guys should be like national radio syndicates or something. Like, holy cripes almighty.
Wait, we're not national yet? Thought we were a national syndicate.
Brian lied to us.
Brother, we're international. We had 2 listens from Thailand last week. So we're international, baby.
So we're doing well.
We're Mr. Worldwide. We are the Pitbull podcast.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right. I got to wrap my head around this. And Jordan, you did a better job defending Eddie Lacy than he did Aaron Rodgers, but it was not good enough to beat Dusty.
Yeah, I saw that coming a mile away.
Try 2 miles, Jordan. All right.
Maybe he needs to correct his vision.
Yes, at least it should have been 2 miles. So Dusty, congratulations, and now that leads us to Brian and Dusty going for the win tonight. And this is the question I have for you guys, and that is: did the defensive performance on Sunday save Dom Capers' job? So, if I flip the coin, and it is tails, Brian, the defensive performance saved Dom Capers' job. And it is tails. It saved his job.
Well, of course it saved his job because I'm not lucky enough for him to get fired. I don't need much beyond that.
Started off the coin toss with a great joke. Positive points already.
The only thing is that I can't really say it's just last night. Now, yes, Sunday's performance was incredible. I did not see that coming at all. I almost cost my boss her fantasy football league because I told her to start the Jets defense instead of the Packers because we were playing Russell Wilson on a roll. And luckily Tom Brady went on a tear on Monday night, so she still won. So I did not lose my job. So that's good. But back to what I was saying, it wasn't just Sunday. It's really the last 3 games. And you look at the game against Philadelphia where we did really well on defense. And I thought, you know what? Young quarterback, this is what I kind of expected. You know, let's see, first of all, what happens against Hopkins and that offense in Houston. And then more importantly, what happens in Seattle. And they passed both of those tests and just dominated on Sunday afternoon. And that's given the team that he coaches for, that's more than enough to save his job. So yeah, Dom Capers is probably going to be back next year, barring some massive collapse in the last 3 weeks.
And Dusty,
I mean, first of all, Brian says he was worried about Hopkins and Houston, but we know he was worried about Osweiler. Like, you were really worried. I know you were, Brian.
I was shaking in my boots,
buddy.
baby.
Ooh, and
buddy.
Dusty comes back.
He's
with
really
another
tall.
phenomenal joke. Oh yes!
Brock Osweiler's really tall. I was right to be
True.
scared.
No, that is accurate. That is very, very accurate. That's the only accurate thing about Brock Osweiler.
He's on a roll. He's on a roll.
You bet. I know I didn't save his job. I mean, and I'm not even necessarily saying that he's going to be fired because, I mean, the blessing and the curse of this coaching staff and this organization that sometimes they're not sometimes, they are very loyal and in a lot of cases just a little too loyal. And Capers has survived worse things than this before, and he may survive this. If they go on a run and they make the playoffs, or if they win out, and the defense looks really, really good down the stretch. I mean, we talked about this before. You can point to the guys that were missing. You can say, well, Randall was out and Rollins was out. I mean, those guys were huge, huge pieces, and they're both back and they're healthy. And Gunter who was getting roasted before, is back into a role that's really, really good for him. And so you can look back if they make a run here, and you could say, the organization could say, well, you know, Capers when they were healthy, they were really good, which is true. It's still problematic because it doesn't take a whole lot of things into account. But I think if the Packers went out, or if at the very least they could lose even a game or two, if that defense looks good, I don't think Capers is going anywhere. Like, I just don't see it happening. In this game, I mean, that's 5 picks, man, like especially of Wilson. That's really impressive. And we talked last week about how we were scared of him getting outside the pocket and killing us, and he didn't do that. But, man, those 5 picks, some of them really good plays. That Demarius Randall interception to end the first half is one of the better plays you'll see. The ground he covered, the read he got on that, I actually just wrote that up today. It's really, really impressive play. But then you also had other plays where Randall fell down and a ball hit, I believe, Doug Baldwin in the face mask and popped right back to Randall. Another one where Russell Wilson fired a little high to, I'm blanking on, it wasn't Rawls, it was the other running back there. It just popped up, and Hyde was right there and caught it. Like, it was 5 picks. They got lucky on at least 3 of them. So It was a good performance. They took advantage of mistakes which they weren't able to do. But those 5 interceptions were not all scheme-based. Some of that was luck, which, granted, we were short on. But I've gone a little long, so basically to round it out, no. I mean, I don't think it has, but we'll see what happens the rest of the season.
And it is time to pick the winner. And based on comedic performance, Dusty, you have won the coin toss.
That's the only way you should ever pick them. You're welcome. Thanks, John.
Rigged.
Oh.
Rigged.
Well, I mean, it's a little cheap because I got to make a couple Osweiler jokes, which are just so easy. It's so easy. Although, for my part, I'll say I made Osweiler jokes without going to Frankenstein stuff, which is new for me. So I'm pretty proud of myself.
Brock, I still love you, baby.
And you know what else is super easy? It's going online and buying things, especially from a super, super awesome sponsor that Jordan knows every single detail about them. Jordan, do tell.
You talk about easy buying online. This is about as easy as it gets. I mean, Packer fans, brothers and sisters of Packer Nation, based on my watch, we are just a little over a week away from Christmas. If you're anything like me, you've probably been putting off that Christmas shopping. I'm guessing you probably have that Packers fan. You're like, I'm not sure what to get them. Well, don't worry. I'm here for you. Pride and Glory Clothing Company. PrideandGlory63.com. Guys, they got a bunch of good stuff. We've been talking about them for quite a few months now. Great apparel for every diehard Packer fan. We've been talking too just for stocking stuffers. They have Pride and Glory wristbands for $3 each. You can get 4 of them for $10. Real easy present, something you wear all the time. They had ran out of their sweep t-shirts. Well, guess what? They are back. The Diagram of Lombardi's famous play. You can pre-order those. You can pre-order a Pride and Glory beanie, for these cold months. So check out prideandglory63.com. Stock up for the holidays. prideandglory63.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, because it is Bears Week, we get to interview one of my favorite all-time people. I think I said that about you when we played the Bears earlier in the season. But Brian Aviles is joining us tonight. Brian, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. And I got to say, that's a great compliment coming from you that I'm one of your favorite people. Hopefully, I'm higher than Jordan on your list.
You are definitely higher than Jordan on my list, okay? Brian, I have a quick question for you. Do I still make the show pop?
Oh, you make it pop,
Ooh!
sizzle, crackle, whatever words we can think of. You make it happen.
I am all the Rice Krispies. So thank you for that. Brian, I think we made a little bit of a wager here with you early in the season before it started, and if memory serves me, recollect, you were going to get a tattoo if the Packers won the division, and if the Bears won the division, you were gonna shave off all of Jordan's hair or something along those lines.
He was going to get the Bears logo shaved into his chest. And my question is, Jordan, are you still scared? I mean, the Bears, I don't think they're eliminated. I mean, they still have a chance, right?
Pretty sure they're mathematically eliminated, yes.
Okay, well, yeah.
I'll check. You might be able to sneak in at 5-11, but I'm not sure.
But yes, that was the bet. Lucky for me, it wasn't that the Packers still have to win the division for it to happen. And, right now the Lions are in the lead, and hopefully it stands pat because if I lose, I'm going to have to get that G tatted on me, and I'm not looking forward to that.
It's going to happen, baby.
Are you a little nervous?
You guys are playing a lot better. The Lions look good, though. So, I'm not too sure. I haven't really kept up with the Lions too much. I know that they come from behind quite a bit. So I think it's very possible that they can drop down a few pegs. And the Vikings, I think, are pretty much out of it. They don't look too good right now. So yeah, I'm getting a little bit nervous, but I'm holding hope that the Lions can pull it out.
And let me tell you something that also doesn't look good, Brian, and that is this whole PED ring going down in Chicago right now. I think right now about 45 of your players have been suspended for PEDs. If memory serves me right. No, but in all seriousness, couple players got suspended for some PED use. Alshon Jeffrey being one, and he's coming back this week. First off, talk to me about what the whole take is on this PED situation in Chicago, and then tell me what you expect from Alshon Jeffrey this week.
Yeah, you hear, a lot of teams, they have to deal with this issue. They'll have one player here and there, get suspended for PEDs, but to have two guys in back-to-back weeks get caught makes you wonder if there's something going on in the organization. Does the training staff, not do enough studying on what the players are taking before they give it to them? Are the players taking things without the coaches knowing? It doesn't seem like they have a good handle on what's going on. It's not good to have in back-to-back weeks. Honestly, your best player on both sides of the ball. Jeffrey's easily our best offensive threat, and Freeman was our best defensive player before he got suspended. So it's not something you want to happen, especially in a season like this when things aren't looking good. You're just adding on the troubles for this team. But we're happy to have Alshon back. One of the big things right now that Matt Barkley's been having to deal with is drop balls. Josh Bellamy, he dropped a potential game-winning touchdown against the Tennessee Titans, and then he also dropped a few big chances in the Lions game last week. And we've been having a lot of drops, so I think it'd be nice for Barkley to have a number one threat, to have a guy that he can rely on going into this week. But a guy like Barkley, I'm a little nervous that he's gonna look to Jeffrey too much. One thing that he's been doing very well has been spreading the ball amongst all the receivers that we have, and it'd be interesting to see how they incorporate Jeffrey, because one of the big issues with Hoyer was he would not find Jeffrey. There'd be times when Jeffrey was open and he wouldn't get him the ball. Even though Hoyer was putting up good numbers, Jeffrey wasn't getting his touches. So it'd be interesting to see how they bring Jeffrey back into the system. Are they still gonna spread the ball out? Are they gonna focus more on Jeffrey? It'd be interesting to see what they do this week.
And speaking of Matt Barkley, let's talk about the Bears quarterback situation. I mean, what's going on in Chicago right now? I mean, we got Jay Cutler, Matt Barkley going forward. What do you see? Just go ahead and tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I'll say right now, Matt Barkley, he's going to be a free agent going into next season. He is definitely is opening up the eyes of people in the league. I think he could be a solid backup quarterback for a lot of teams in this league the way he's playing right now. So we'll see if the Bears are able to re-sign him. We still have Jay Cutler under the books, but his contract, it works out that if we cut him, it's going to cost us nothing. And it looks like that's what the Bears are going to do. Now, believe it or not, there are some Bears fans that think Jay Cutler is the answer. They think that throughout his tenure here, the front office hasn't given him the pieces to succeed. But you're seeing it this year. Brian Hoyer came in averaging 300-plus yards a game with the team that we have here. Matt Barkley's coming in, and he's looking solid with the team that he has given him without Alshon Jeffrey on top of that. And when Cutler was playing this year, he didn't look good. He had one good game against the Vikings, and other than that, he would have costly turnovers. He'd hold on the ball too long and get sacked. It just didn't look good. So I think going into next season, Cutler will be cut from the team, and I would like to see them re-sign Barkley. I think he'd be a solid backup. Some other options people have tossed around is trading for a guy like Tony Romo. It sounds like that people think we can get him for a 5th or a 6th round pick since they have Dak Prescott playing so well there, and they don't want to keep a big contract like Romo's on their books. So there's been talk about bringing him in for 1 year, drafting a QB, having the QB study under Romo, and sit for a while. There's also been talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. I'd be a little more nervous about him because he hasn't really proven much in this league, and he will go for more. He'd probably go for a 3rd or 2nd round pick from what it sounds like. And I don't know if I'm willing to to drop that for a team like ours that has a lot of pieces that we need to add. I don't want to give up a valuable pick to bring in a guy who's unknown. So it'll be interesting to see what the Bears do. But my guess is whatever they do, they're going to sign a QB to play just one season and have a rookie sit under him, or maybe Matt Barkley shows something and they'll bring in a backup and see what Barkley has for one season as a full-time starter. But I think going into the draft, the Bears, they should look to add a lot of pieces, but somewhere in the draft, maybe in the second or third round, they definitely need to look at a QB.
You know, I am one of those people on the Bears websites that's plugging for Jay Cutler to remain the quarterback because I don't want him to go anywhere. So he is when the Packers play the Bears, it's like we have an extra man on the field. So I just want to.
That's probably what it is. I'm sure there are Packer fans that just hopping on the blog just to stir the pot and
I just told you it's me. I just told you, you know.
You have like 8 different accounts for all your different emails, and you just get on all the blogs and just troll all the fans.
I don't even want to. I can't even tell you my names because then you're gonna boot me off these sites. But switching our focus to the game at hand this Sunday. What do the Bears have to do to win this game?
Well, they have to do a. They have to do a lot, and I would say right now, I think the best that the Bears can do is look good and then lose the game still. That's what I've been kind of rooting for throughout the weeks, but they need to pound the ball with Jordan Howard. Last week against the Lions, they went away from it. Jordan Howard, I don't know the final stats. He had 80, 90 yards rushing, but they only gave him the ball just a few amount of times. And, you know, Jordan Howard has proven to be an excellent running back, and you know, Zeke Elliott still is going to be the rookie of the year for the offensive side of the ball in the NFC. But Jordan Howard can make his case. He doesn't have the line that Zeke has. I think Zeke's getting something like 3.5 or 3.6 yards before he even gets touched. Jordan Howard is, you know, after contact, he churns out some yards, and he does a very good job for our team. And I'm looking forward to what he can bring in the future. But for us to win this game, we need to give him the ball. On first down, on second down, and, you know, maybe even on third down. You know, just keep giving him the ball, make things easier for Barkley. You know, give Barkley some third and manageables, and I think that can keep the game close. Realistically speaking, though, our offense, I don't think is going to be able to put up the points to stick with Rodgers. Our defenses look very, very good this year, and I'm looking forward to our future with our defense, but our biggest weakness is our secondary. And, you know, Rodgers has shown in years past, even with us having good secondaries, to be able to chew us up. So I think he's going to have a field day with our defense this week. I can see Leonard Floyd maybe getting in and getting a couple sacks and making things tough. But at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot of open receivers. And I don't see much of a chance for the Bears to really compete in this game, to be honest.
So what do you got for a final score prediction for us, Brian?
Final score prediction. Huh. Let's see. I think we'll keep it close in the first half. I will say the final score will be 27-10.
27-10. All right.
I think going into half it could be like a 10-10 or, you know, a 10-7 game. But then I think in the second half our defense will not be able to hold up. I think they'll put in a good effort to start the game. Our offense, though, is going to not keep them off the field, and our defense is going to get tired, and Rodgers is going to take advantage of it.
Man, that would just make my Sunday. I know that the Bears have that slight edge on the all-time record between the Packers, and just anytime the Packers can beat the Bears and just close that gap, I know it's vanishing quickly, and I am praying for that day to come so soon. But
well, I think you'll see it because you guys have a good one at QB, and we are still trying to find one. So I think you guys are going to have a few more seasons of wins.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And Brian, you also have a podcast of your own. Why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners about it? Because just go ahead and tell people about it.
Okay. I have a podcast with my friend Ian Molnar. It's called Buckets Podcast. We talk about the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers. A little story behind that is Ian's a Ohio guy. I was born in Chicago. We both love talking about basketball, so we figured, hey, why not put it on a podcast? We've had a few episodes. Ian right now is in Cleveland, so it's been kind of tough to do it every week like we used to do. But you just go on iTunes, check out Buckets Podcast, and you can find some episodes with us talking about the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, Brian, if you ever need a Milwaukee Bucks insider, look no further. I am very up to date on my Bucks, and I will be going to the Bucks and Bulls game this Thursday at the
I'm looking forward to that game.
So I'm looking forward to a great game too. And Brian, as always, I just absolutely love having you on this show. And stay golden, and great success to your podcast. And look forward to maybe catching up with you in the near future here, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. You do a great job with the site and with the podcast. I enjoy it very much. Thank you.
And we will now continue into our coverage of the green and gold. And another thing that is super easy is beating the Chicago Bears. Sometimes it's easier said than done. But Brian is going to give us the keys to victory right now.
I have a feeling that this week it'll be easier done than said. Yeah. You like that wordplay right there?
Boom!
All right, here's what we need. Here's what we need to win this week. So first of all, John introduces our coin toss segment as patented every week. And if you listened last week, you heard me confess to the world that it is not patented. It is indeed stolen, but it doesn't make it any less cool. What I am patenting is my use of the phrase, the Jeff sweep. 2 weeks in a row, we saw a sweep, an end around to Jeff Janis, and I am calling it the Jeff sweep.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Use it.
Yeah.
It has worked.
I didn't think about that. That's good.
It has worked 2 weeks in a row. Use the Jeff sweep. And we finally found a use for Jeff Janis, so Jeff sweep all over the place, baby. It's gonna be a thing. Start calling it that. I'll get like 5 cents every time somebody says Jeff sweep or something. Start calling it that. Beyond that, we need to mess up Matt Barkley's rhythm. As we mentioned, he's doing a little bit better than anybody expected him to. Which basically is to say that he's not going to be a Green Bay Packer Hall of Fame quarterback like his counterpart Jay Cutler is. Expect him to be in the Hall of Fame as soon as he is eligible for that. But Dom Capers, over his career, he has made his money on victimizing young quarterbacks, inexperienced quarterbacks who are struggling. He finds those weaknesses in guys like that, and there are weaknesses to Matt Barkley, and I fully expect Dom Capers to find those and disrupt whatever kind of rhythm he's got going on. The other thing, you got to keep up the intensity. One thing we did not see at all during that 4-game losing streak was, fighting. We didn't see any kind of pushing, any kind of showboating. Like, it didn't seem like anybody was really up for playing football during that month, and it was just really painful to watch. These past 3 games, however, Mike Daniels has been up for it. Clinton Dix has been hitting some big hits. Demarius Randall's starting to make some plays. And you're starting to see some guys on defense celebrate and play physically and really get into playing football again. And I think that's been a huge part of the turnaround. The result this week, my goodness, 5 interceptions, 6 turnovers in all. We went from -1 to +5 in turnover difference. That's crazy to do in 1 week. Just keep that kind of intensity up, and you can beat absolutely anybody. And we just proved it because we beat a very good team, and we made Russell Wilson, who probably up until this week was in the MVP talks, and we just made him look stupid, foolish. He was making dumb throws. He was scrambling before the pressure even got there. He was panicking at just the thought of Jaron Elliott or Dean Lowry getting in his grill. So keep that kind of stuff up. And the last thing, you gotta... broken record here. Broken record. This is what everybody's been saying. Eliminate these useless plays on offense. I remember like a 2nd and 1 where we tried a pitch outside and got stuffed, and then we tried to run it to our fullback and got stuffed, and just situations like that. You have a powerful back now with some burst in Kristen Michael, and he would be perfect for that situation, running behind a fullback, but you continue to hand it off to a fullback. And I know I say this every week, and I'm a big fan of Aaron Ripkowski, but that's not the time to use Aaron Ripkowski. And times like that, you want a guy running behind your fullback. So just cut out those dumb, useless plays. You know, last year it was runs to Kuhn and bubble screens to Richard Rodgers. Just get those out of the playbook. You know what doesn't work at this point. You know, we're deep enough into the season to know what doesn't work, but we still do it. Just get rid of those plays, and the Bears won't even have a chance on Sunday. Having said that, the Bears don't even have a chance on Sunday.
Nope. No, do not.
I'm going bold here. I'm not gonna drop a 40 burger like I did for the Texans game, which I maintain if it had not been snowing, we would have scored 40. But we'll win this one pretty handily. I think it'll be a little bit wider of a margin than Brian said earlier in the show. I'm gonna say 30-6. Packers will win this one.
Ooh.
30-6.
Well, Packers, you just heard everything Brian had to say. Now go ahead and do it, and we would all appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And now Dusty is going to bring you guys some numbers.
Yeah, so first off, just going back to the Seahawks game for a second, Brian mentioned about how we jumped our turnover margin up, which is insane. Even more insane to me, so this is Russell Wilson's 5th year in the league. I don't know if you've seen this stat. I looked this up right after the game because I was curious. That game dropped Russell Wilson's career QB rating down 1.3 points. Just one game. One game dropped at 1.3. And even beyond that, even slightly cooler than that, he was at 100.3 before that. His career QB rating is now 99, which leaves Aaron Rodgers alone as far as quarterbacks who have ever played the game who have a QB rating of 100 or above. Russell Wilson was up there with them. This game actually dropped him below Aaron Rodgers, which is just, it's bonkers that one game can make that big difference. And Russell Wilson hasn't been in the league that long, but 5 years, like that's kind of crazy. That's a big drop. So that's kind of exciting. So, okay. So going to this game, when Brian Violas was with us earlier, he talked about how the Bears defense has been better this year. And that's like half right. Or I guess it's right. They've been better than terrible, which they were last year. But really, it's a story of two different teams. It's home road, and it's actually fairly large. So we look at their home, which is where we're going, as a reminder. So this just makes it kind of slightly tougher. If they played like they do all year, like they do at home, they would be the number 5 defense in the league. If they play the entire year like they do on the road, they're the 23rd best defense in the league. So it's a huge difference between home and the road for them. And we are going to Chicago, so that's something to keep in mind. Offense is kind of the same thing. If they played the entire year like they do at home, they'd be the number 12 offense on the road to the 29th. So, and this is all according to Football Outsiders DVOA. So they do give a tougher test at home. However, the big thing is that they actually turn the ball over more at home than they do on the road. At home, on the road they turn the ball over 1.2 times per game. At home, they turn it over 2 times per game. And Barkley's actually been pretty good. I think this is his third start. In his first start, he threw 2 interceptions. In his last 2, he has not thrown a single interception. So you can look at that either way you want. You can either say Barkley has gotten slightly better, or you can say Barkley's gotten slightly lucky and he's due. Whether you want to play the Gambler's fallacy or not, I'm not sure. But given what we've seen from the Packers last week with the 5 interceptions of Russell Wilson, it's safe to assume they'll pick him off at least once or twice here. And that's going to be big. For them at home, that's really what makes the difference as far as the Bears is the interceptions or the turnovers they give up. So look for Barkley to throw a couple balls that can be intercepted, and the Packers are going to need to take advantage of those. Looking back to when the Packers are on offense, we saw Rodgers. I know his calf injury isn't supposed to be as severe as it was possibly thought, but towards the end of that game, even towards the end of the first half, Rodgers was not moving around all that well. The Bears pressure opponents on 17.9% of dropbacks, which is 21st in the league. So Rodgers should have a bit of time to kind of look around, survey from the pocket. He still slides around really well within the pocket. So I don't expect him to see him break the pocket, but he should have a little bit of time back there to survey. And the way the receivers have been getting open, I think they'll be fine. I think he'll be able to hit quite a few passes. So kind of end it down here. So the Bears have won 3 games this year, which I don't know if you guys know. We're pretty far into the season. To only have 3 wins is kind of bad. The Bears are bad. The Bears are a bad team. They are in fact not good. But 2 of their 3 wins have come against the other NFC North opponents in Chicago, not away, but in Chicago. They beat the Lions back in week 4 and they beat the Vikings in week 8. So that's something to look out for. If they beat the Packers, that'll be all 3 NFC North teams they will have beat in Chicago. So, that being said, Packers are on a bit of a roll. I talked about how the Bears are better at home offensively than they are on the road, but they're still only averaging like 19 points a game, which is bad. And the way the Packers are playing, they're going to score more than 19 points a game. Actually, the most points the Bears have scored at all this year is 26 points, and that's against the Niners, who are giving up 30 points a game. So they even scored less than what the Niners are giving up on average. So I think the Bears are not going to be able to score. I think the Packers are going to be able to score. I'm not going as bold as Brian because I think the Bears are going to be able to put up some points, but I am going to go Packers 31-13.
Dusty, as always, providing the best numbers anyone has ever heard about, ever. Especially the score prediction. I'm absolutely so on board with that, and I hope that is the absolute case. And Jordan, you have some Twitter questions for us, but first off, why don't you go ahead and give us a score prediction as to what you think is going to happen on Sunday?
You want my score prediction first?
Yes, bring it.
You heard him.
I will bring it. I agree with you guys. I mean, this is a game that should be no less than a 2-possession win for the Packers. I think that's what's going to happen. I truthfully think the only thing that keeps us from winning this game is a Rodgers injury and getting him off the field. I think that's the only thing.
You telling me Brett Hundley can't beat the Bears?
Oh, he certainly can, but I mean, we don't know what he's capable of doing.
Way to bring up the last time, or one of the times before the Rodgers played the Bears and left the game. Jordan.
Oh, that's a good point.
Did that happen?
Jordan, I'm so sick of your crap.
Dude.
So sick of it, Jordan.
I'm trying to blank. Did he leave the game in the last Bears game?
Not the last Bears game.
It was
2013
when he broke his collarbone.
Oh, 3 years ago?
Yes, don't ever talk about Rodgers getting injured against the Bears again. How can I make myself more clear, Jordan?
All right, I'm going to give you my score prediction. We're gonna
please.
Move on.
That's smart.
I'm gonna go Packers 28, Bears 9. Getting three field goals from the Bears, and that is it. We don't let them in the end zone.
From Robbie Gould, right? Oh, too soon.
Jordan, you picked the exact same score for the Bears that I personally chose myself for my prediction. I picked
28 to 9.
No, not 28. I think the Bears are scoring 9 points.
Oh,
but I think the Packers are dropping 37. A very odd number.
I like it
for a very odd person like me. So
I like it.
Now, do we have some Twitter questions?
Oh, we do. As a matter of fact, we do have a couple Twitter questions. First one comes from our friend, our sponsor, Fred Thurston at FThurstonXXII. Is this a great win, or did we just catch the Seahawks on a bad day? Hashtag Go Pack Go. I mean, definitely both. I think it's much more the former than the latter. I mean, the Packers played fantastic. There's no question we caught Russell Wilson on a bad day. I mean, could honestly be the worst game he's ever played. I mean, Dusty talked about that at length. I mean, that was Russell Wilson looked bad. He looked shaken. He didn't look like Russell Wilson on Sunday. But I think a lot of that had to do with the way the Packers played. I mean, we forced him into a lot of those situations. And he talked about some luck on the interceptions. You know, 3 of them lucky, two of them nice plays by the Packers. But we put ourselves into good situations to make those plays. So I mean, it was it was as close to a virtuoso performance for the Packers as you could have asked for. I mean, nobody saw that game coming, so it's much more a great win than catching the Seahawks on a bad day.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we saw a lot of that on Sunday. But, I mean, some of those drops, that part of that had to be receivers hearing footsteps, just knowing they're about to get rocked, so they get alligator arms. Like I said before, Russell Wilson was panicking in the pocket, running away from pressure before the pressure was even there. So some of that would be his terrible offensive line being in his head, but some of that was he was legitimately afraid that he was about to get rocked by some of this Packers front seven. And yeah, we forced a lot more than to just say that we were lucky. So yeah, I'd say that was just a brilliant performance from the Packers in all phases.
Well, and I know I said earlier that 2 of them were good plays and 3 were lucky. I'd like to switch that. I think it was 3. I was thinking there was 3 deflections, so I was counting all of those, but one of those was actually a really good play by Gunter.
Yeah, that's right.
Playing on Kearse that deflected it to Rollins, and Rollins made a really good play on the deflection, but that was still a great defensive play. I mean, I'm with you guys. I mean, we talked about last week about the need to keep Wilson contained, and in this week's Eye in the Sky article you can find on PackToTheFuture.com on Thursday.
Plug.
I talked about some of that with some of the pass rush that they had, that they didn't have guys. I mean, we were scared about Perry being gone. Perry was gone, but man, like Lowry and Jones and Daniels just shut that down, man. Like they stayed in their lanes, they got a rush, but they didn't let Wilson get out. That's really, really good defense. And like Brian said, I mean, it rattled him a little. He was throwing his 5th interception, the one that bounced to Hyde, was a simple throw, man. One that he makes just all the time, just to the flat that he fired high. That I think he was just rattled on. I mean, Wilson has tied so far this year. He's tied for the most interceptions of his career with 10. And he threw half of them in this game. So half of his career season high interceptions he actually threw in this game, which is just that's insane. I mean, the Seahawks were a little off, but the Packers definitely forced that. And as far as, I mean, offensively too, man, the Packers tore them up. That was not a bad day, Seattle defensively. They missed Thomas a little, but I mean, they didn't throw to the middle too much. Terrell did not hurt the Seahawks defense that much. That was just a terrific offensive game, terrific defensive game. They got some bounces, but man, like just all the way around, great game from Green Bay.
Dusty, I'm glad you corrected yourself, because I was actually going to talk to you about that after the podcast wrapped up, but just
it was eating me up inside. I had to do it.
I know, and that shows what kind of integrity you have.
I just watched all those plays like 20 times earlier today. I got the numbers wrong. I blame this Trader Joe's scotch that was in my glass. I just curse you, $12 scotch.
And Jordan, do we have any more Twitter questions?
Well, one more. We got one more Twitter question. This is actually from our friend, our guest, Brian Avilas, and you can find him on Twitter at BrianBBLL148. And his question is, what is the difference in this Packers team? Coming off our 4-game losing streak. Is it a switch that was all of a sudden flipped, or is there a different scheme that was put in place? Certainly, to answer this question, I mean, a switch that was flipped. I mean, certainly the intensity's gone up. I don't know if it was one particular moment. I mean, you look back to that Eagles game, and it's amazing that we played that way, considering how we played, a week and a day earlier in Washington. I mean, that was remarkable. I don't think many people were confident. I wasn't confident going into that game, so that was an impressive display to bounce back, and it's catapulted us into this winning streak. So I don't want to say it was a switch that was flipped. I mean, guys started playing better. We got healthier in the secondary. We got Randall back playing well. I mean, he obviously helped out a lot in this last game. Just having him back there gives more peace of mind, I think. We're not throwing out, Gunter covering the number 1 receiver like we had been for a couple of games. I mean, just getting healthier. I think they're just finding their groove. They needed to catch some breaks. So I think different scheme. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot different with what we're doing. I mean, there's little things. It wasn't a massive change, but it's the guys are playing with more intensity. They're executing better, and it's turning into victories.
Jordan, I'm going to completely disagree with you and say it's almost all scheme. When playing more base 3-4 defense and basically what that's done for us is these players on defense know their routes. They know what they're supposed to be doing now that it's kind of simplified a little bit. I think that's a big part of why the Dallas Cowboys have had success on defense, is because it's a fairly simplistic defense to learn, and everybody knows exactly where they're supposed to be at all times. Our talent level on defense is at least that of the Dallas Cowboys, but their defense has been far more consistent than ours. And I think that's a big part of it. So switching to playing more base 3-4, I think has helped us quite a bit. And then offensively, they definitely changed something, because Aaron Rodgers has been hitting first receivers that have been open. You've seen a lot more combo routes. You've seen a lot more scheming to get receivers open than you had been seeing in the first 10 weeks or so of the season. I think a lot of things have changed in the coaches' rooms, and I think that's a huge part of how they've turned it around.
And I'm going to split the difference and go right down between you guys.
Loser.
And say that it's been a bit of both. I mean, especially
hashtag cliche.
That's
hashtag
right.
Hashtag safe
That's
answer.
That's fine. Especially on the offensive side. I mean, Brian mentioned some of that, but I mean, we saw them kind of doing some schematic changes even during that four game losing streak that they've kind of come on are just doing better now. I mean, a whole lot more bunch routes. You got rub routes, man, motion before. If you watch a game from 2 years ago versus a game you watch today, just a ton more pre-snap motion, just to kind of get the defense moving. Maybe get them to show are they in man or zone, kind of what some of the coverage is going to be. You've got guys running, say a couple guys straight down the field running go routes or ins, trying to rub some guys off of a guy, say running out of the flat or quick out. You've got this cool little dual out move they're using with maybe running some guy underneath that. There's been lots of complaints that the Packers ran just an ISO system and just waiting for their men to beat the guy on the other side of the ball. And we talked about it early in the season. They don't have the guys to do that anymore. I mean, Nelson isn't that guy anymore. Cobb can do that in short spaces, but they've kind of switched stuff up to kind of allow that a little bit. And I will say that, I mean, some of it's personnel as well. It's the offense looks better when Cook's out there. He allows them to stretch the field a little bit but there's also that intensity. I mean, you say what you will about it, no one really seemed like they were having too much fun. Rodgers wasn't really smiling or joking. I think early in the season he wasn't doing his little even pregame photo bomb stuff, which was always something he kind of did. You're seeing some of that now. I mean, you're seeing the photo bombs, you're seeing guys laughing, you're seeing guys getting a little bit fired up on the field that we weren't seeing. So I mean, for me, I see the schematic stuff, and I really think that's where it came from. You get some of those changes, but then you also have some guys getting fired up and maybe taking a more vocal role and getting a little more up on the field, for lack of a better term. So I do think it's both, but it's been a marked change on both fronts, and it's been really, really exciting to see. And I mean, last thing I'll say is, I talked earlier about how we didn't have any receivers that can beat guys. Davante Adams is just straight beating guys, man. Like, he's beating them off the line. He's got that quick little step. I was watching a play earlier, the one that Richard Rodgers got killed over the middle against the Seahawks that KJ Wright lit him up. That was like one of the quickest moves I've ever seen from Richard Rodgers. Just this little shoulder shake cut inside. Guys are quicker out of their cuts than they were earlier as well. I mean, and Davante Adams just been killing it, but everyone's doing a better job at that. And having Montgomery on the field helps. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. It's been really, really exciting.
Man, you mentioned Davante, and I mean, you don't want to criticize Rodgers too much for his game. He threw 5 incompletions, but one of those was after Adams had beaten his guy. I mean, he had a step and a half on the dude, and if Rodgers lays it up a little bit more, I mean, Adams has a big play. I don't remember exactly when that was in the game, but it was just one of those plays like, a little better throw, and Adams has that, and he's another big play. I mean, that's just to go along with what you said.
I mean,
Adams is beating guys off the line. He wasn't doing that earlier in the year. Like, just that little step he's got at the line is incredible, and that's just been something over the past 4 weeks or something. 4 or 5 weeks he's been doing that.
Well, and you go back to the first series that we had after the 4-game losing streak was in Philadelphia, and Adams was making play after play. He got the touchdown on that slant route, which was another one of those really quick moves that he had. Yeah. And he got open. Rodgers put on the money, and that was, you look at it in retrospect, that could be the drive of the season right there that got us going on a run.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've heard Brian say this a few times, and there's just something about this Packers team when they're playing with their backs up against a wall. I mean, time and time again, like, they're in situations where they just have to perform, and somehow, some way, they just always perform. And I mean, I don't know if it. I hate that we have to be in this situation where we have to play like this, but so far, when our backs have been against the wall, I mean, aka these last 3 games, we have seen a completely different Packers team. So I'm hoping. Here's to hoping that this is a turning of the tide, and the Packers are just here to stay. Somehow make the playoffs and make some magic happen. But with that, we are going to get into our final thoughts. And Brian, why don't you go ahead and start us off on what your final thoughts are?
Will do. I have a bunch, but I'll get through each of them really quickly. First of all, a lot of really dirty hits from the Seahawks on Sunday, and they really need to see some fines for that. Otherwise, the NFL is just a complete joke. And I mean, it already is a complete joke with their fine structure, but they really need to punish guys like Richard Sherman for the things that they were doing in that game that just straight up dirty. Number 2 is Jayrone Elliott. I don't know how many plays this dude has to make before he starts seeing the field consistently, but I'm sick of seeing him disappear for 2 months, not get any snaps, and then come in a game like this Sunday where he just tears it up,
killing it. Put
the man on the field. That one game, he almost matched the production we've seen from Clay Matthews all season long. So yeah, I would much rather see Jayrone Elliott on the field right now than I would Clay Matthews, and it's not even close.
Pretty sure he was a healthy scratch at least once earlier in the season.
Yeah, Clay Matthews right now has no business being above the depth chart on Jayrone Elliott right now. It's not even close in my mind. Number 3, the Seahawks up until Sunday had gone, I believe it was 95 straight games where they did not lose by more than 10 points. And we just blew them out on Sunday. That is no joke. 95 straight games, not losing by 10 or more. Just absorb that for a second, and then think about the fact that we beat them by 4 touchdowns. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty awesome. And the Jeff sweep copyright was one of them. All right, and lastly, I hate to actually agree with Richard Sherman on something, but I have to, because he was interviewed today about, he was asked about Thursday Night Football, and he called the whole concept of it a complete poop fest. And I am fully on board. I love the games on Thanksgiving. I like having the defending Super Bowl champion open the season on a Thursday night. All attention on them. Those two are great. That's the only time an NFL game should be played on a Thursday. Sundays, Mondays, I don't even like Monday Night Football anymore, but Sundays and Mondays should be it. Down with Thursday Night Football. That's all.
What about this whole Saturday slate coming up here on Christmas Eve?
I'm okay with that because of the holiday surrounding it, but I don't want Saturdays to be a regular thing. I get why they have to do it during the playoffs, but I'm not a big fan of it. Sundays and Mondays, that's what football is all about. You can find me on Twitter at PTTF_Brian, and of course you can find our podcast/website Twitter account at PTTF_podcast.
All right. Dusty, what are your final thoughts tonight?
I got 3, man. So the first one, every week I look at cheapest tickets as of the time that we go to record. So I've got 2 games to talk about this week. The first one, no surprise, Cleveland is in. Now, last week I actually talked about Cleveland, Cincy at Cleveland, which went poorly. We'll say poorly for the Browns. So they make this space again. This time, the 0-13 Cleveland Browns roll into Buffalo. They're playing the 6-7 Buffalo Bills. You can get those tickets for $12. Man, it's December. It's cold. Man, I don't know if you guys saw. So there's the big thing with the Bills Mafia, #Bills Mafia. Just out there, just power bombing guys through tables, folding tables, pregame stuff out, say tailgating. This past week, there's a video of a dude just jumping straight through one with his leg and just snapping his leg sideways. Yeah, I've watched that video in slow motion no less than a dozen times. It's fantastic. Anyway, man, it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be terrible. You can go there for $12.
$12.
I'm here on. Yeah,
$12,
man.
$12 to see the Ryan brothers in one place together? Are you kidding me?
Maybe for the last time coaching together. Yeah, so you're just out there coaching on that little tandem bike. It's gonna be you might get a snow game. Like, it's gonna be awesome. I do want to talk about Cleveland for a quick second. Man, they're bad. Like, this may be their last best chance to win a game. But they actually have some exciting pieces on offense. Like, I actually kind of enjoyed this past game. Like, I've always been an RG3 fan. I love Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson. I love Corey Coleman. I love what Terrell Pryor has done. Like, they've got some exciting pieces on offense. Like, they could be decent in the next year or two, at least offensively. But they're not going to be this year. You can go to that game for $12. The other game I want to talk about, and this is just because it's just insane to me, and I've talked about this team before, but man, you can see the Tennessee Titans, the 7-6 Tennessee Titans, currently tied for first in the division with the Texans, go into Kansas City to play the number one in their division, Kansas City Chiefs, for $16.
What?
That's two teams. And I've talked about this before. This is bonkers to me, because I've always heard that Arrowhead is a place that, like, fans go crazy for, and it's always packed out.
Yes.
KC is they just came off a big win against the Raiders. They are technically tied in record with the Raiders, but they've got the tiebreaker on the Raiders. They're number one in that division. And you can go see them at home against another team that is tied for first in that division for $16. That's insane. I don't understand.
Come on, Chiefs fans. Come on, Chiefs fans.
It just goes to show Alex Smith can go 10-3, but still can't put fans in the stands.
That's true. That could be a really good game. I'm actually kind of excited to watch that one, and you can go there for $16. My second final thought. So, man, there's that Randall Cobb, Aaron Rodgers commercial. It's like, man, your stuff is on fire. Someone should call the fire department, which makes me laugh. But Randall Cobb is just a horrendous actor. I've seen it probably 36 times. I never noticed it before, that at the end, that Randall Cobb's actually handling the fire hose. He's helping put out the fire, while the fireman is just standing behind him. Which seems like something that shouldn't be allowed. Like, I feel like the firemen's union or whatever would frown on that. Like, they shouldn't allow, like, a civilian, but I guess you let Randall Cobb do whatever he wants to do.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's just, you let him do that.
In Green Bay, Randall Cobb can do whatever he wants.
That's right. But
facts.
Again, I can't stress enough. Randall Cobb is a terrible actor. That, for some reason, Aaron Rodgers brushing his shoulder off, it makes me laugh every single time. Final thought. We talked last week about Die Hard as a Christmas movie, and I mentioned Lethal Weapon. I got some other ones for you, man. I'm a big horror guy. So I'm going to drop a handful of horror Christmas movies you should watch if you haven't already. You got Black Christmas, which is the original's a classic. Watch that one. The remake's a ton of fun, and it's terrible. But, like, the villain eats skin cookies, which is fine. Like, it's cool, man. So just watch that. Gremlins, of course, is a classic. Rare Exports is a Swedish movie. Kind of deals with the kind of the legend of Santa in that country. That's a yearly watch for me. Love that movie. You got Krampus that came out last year from the director of Trick or Treat, which is going to be a yearly watch for me. You got Silent Night, Deadly Night. If you want to go down that series, you can go down like to 5 if you want, but that first one's a classic. You got Santa Sleigh with Bill Goldberg. That movie's terrible. Oh, it's terrible. But it's a lot of fun. The opening scene alone is worth watching. And finally, you got P2 about a girl stuck in a parking garage on Christmas trying to get away from a killer. All of those, you can't go wrong with any of those, man. I know I'm missing some, but those are some I try to fit in every year. So if you're looking for an alternative Christmas movie, if you're sick of watching It's a Wonderful Life every single year, give one of those a shot, man. Like, they're all good. They're all worth watching.
Are you saying the girl is on the second floor of a parking lot and she can't get out?
Well, the guy's locked it down, you see. There's a killer there, and the guy's locked it down.
You see?
And there's no one else there because she's working on Christmas Eve. So it's a whole thing. Jordan, I don't want to ruin it for you. You should watch the movie.
Watch it, brother.
Just watch P2. It's fun.
I'll set some time aside.
Jordan, just shut up and watch it.
Yeah. I don't even know why we're still on this. You guys should be watching all of those. You can find me on Twitter at Dusty Evely.
And Jordan, I guess, go ahead and give us your final thoughts.
Josh, edit out his final thoughts. Nobody wants to.
Well, Josh may want to edit out this my penultimate thought of the evening. my team has advanced to the fantasy football semifinals in a game that I would imagine would be the equivalent of a Browns 49ers playoff game. I won this game 87 points to 81 points, and it just feels gross. I don't feel like I deserve to win. I feel bad for winning. I won because Justin Tucker's awesome. I won because of a kicker. Like, just none of this feels right. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Josh. You can edit it out if you want to, but it's.
I can't
believe
I'm laughing at something Jordan's saying. This is craziness.
And my final thoughts for this podcast is, I brought up last week on the teams that the Packer fans need to be rooting for outside of the Packers games. I mean, it's been well broadcast that the Packers need help if we're trying to get into the playoffs. So I gave a list of teams last week that the Packers should be rooting for, and all of those teams lost, except for Green Bay. So I'm not gonna accept blame for that, but it was on time. We couldn't get out.
We'll still blame you.
Well, I mean, you guys will, but I'm not going to.
You don't have to
myself,
accept it,
so.
but we're going to blame you.
That's fair. That's fair. So anyway, moving to this week, if you've been keeping up at all with the Packers, it's been pretty well said that the Packers need to win out, and they need the Lions to lose one of the next two games, and the Packers are division champions. Easy enough. Or I mean, it's pretty simple scenario to grasp. So there's still another way the Packers can get into the playoffs, though. Assuming the Packers win out, there are two teams that are in their way for a wild card spot. Those are the Washington Redskins and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Washington Redskins have a tie, so we don't have to worry about the loss that we have to them in terms of a tiebreaker. We just need to finish ahead of them. So we need the Redskins to lose one of their last three games, and we will go ahead of them. The team that's interesting to me is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who currently sit one game ahead of us. And they play the Dallas Cowboys this week. So I'll tell you this, if the Buccaneers go and lose to the Cowboys this week and win their final two games, and the Packers win out, they will both be sitting at 10-6. And I looked at the tiebreakers for a wild card team in the same division. So the first tiebreaker is if they are head-to-head, they determine who wins. Well, we have not played the Buccaneers this year. That will not happen. If that does not come into play, which it will not, the second tiebreaker is best win-loss tied percentage in games played within the conference. Well, as it stands right now, the Packers are 5-4. If they win out, they will be 8-4. If Tampa loses to Dallas and wins their last two games, they will be 8-4. We will be tied at that tiebreaker, so we move to the third one. Well, the third one is best win-loss tied percentage in common games with a minimum of 4. Well, there's actually a common games of 5 for the Packers and Buccaneers, including the Falcons, Bears, Seahawks, and Cowboys. Packers are 3-2 in those games. If the Buccaneers lose to the Cowboys and win out, they will be 3-2. So that doesn't decide anything. So we move on to the fourth tiebreaker. And the fourth tiebreaker, I kid you not, is strength of victory, which, honest to God, I did not know was a thing. So I looked to see where we stand with the strength of victory. And as of week 14 or after week 14, Packers have a 4.78 strength of victory. Tampa Bay has a 4.38. So we really need if we're going to get in as a wild card team, if the Lions don't help us out by losing, we need Tampa Bay to lose to Dallas. This is a big game. If the Packers want to get into the playoffs, if Tampa Bay beats Dallas, it's going to be almost impossible for the Packers to get a wild card spot. So we are big Cowboys fans this week, Packer fans, as much as it pains me to say, but go Cowboys. Oh. It didn't feel good.
You're fired.
I'm sorry. It had to be done.
The only thing worse than cheering for the Cowboys is doing what I did last week and cheering harder for the Cowboys than I ever have, and then being honest to God upset when they lose. And I blame you for that, Jordan.
It might happen 2 weeks in a row with the way Tampa's playing.
Honestly, there are two teams that I can just never be upset when they lose, and it's the Cowboys, and believe it or not, it's the Saints. So I know we needed them to lose this week, but I was so happy. Or we needed them to win, but I was so happy when they lost. I was
not, because I'm a real Packers fan, Brian.
Well, I'm not, so there we go.
What's your issue with the Saints?
Yes, Brian, what is it?
one of their fans, and if he's listening, he knows. He's just a trash talker.
Oh.
Every week, he just talks trash.
You can't let this get personal, man. There's a bigger goal in mind.
Oh, I can.
Team game, Brian. It's a team game.
No, it's all about making one person very unhappy.
Well, Jordan,
It's petty. I like it.
There we go.
Well, Jordan, the last time I checked you out on Twitter, what's your Twitter handle?
Oh, that's right. You guys can find me on Twitter at JGPeck41.
It's still not Peck to the future, which still bugs me.
Yeah, and if you
Sorry.
if you want to unfollow Jordan, I don't blame you.
Follow him and then unfollow him.
Yes.
Repeatedly, so I get all the notifications.
Let's see how many people can follow Jordan and then unfollow him in a week. And I'm gonna keep tabs. and it's gonna be freaking awesome. But Jordan, that was actually some super nice work from you. I did not know a lot of that stuff that you just mentioned. So very very well done on your final thought.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I also have two final thoughts, and one of them being, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I had the absolute privilege to go to this game this past Sunday at Lambeau, and I hope a lot of you guys have been able to make the trip to Lambeau, but there is nothing like Lambeau Field on Sunday. I was wearing my Packers ugly Christmas sweater to the game, and I'm driving, and there's a car next to me, and this girl just rolls on her window in freezing temperatures, and she just goes, "I love your sweater," and I'm like, "I love you," and it's just like, honestly, the friendliness that you find at Lambeau is just and one more story about friendliness at Lambeau. I always love to park in someone's yard. I think that's the only way to do it at Lambeau. And I park the car, I give the guy whatever he's asking to pay, and I don't even get time to give the guy money. And I step out of the car, and he asked me if I want a beer. And I was like, "Are you kidding me right now? I don't even have time to step out of this car, and you're already offering me a beer?" So anyways, Lambeau is amazing. Make it out there if you haven't. And last final thought is this. We're dealing with some extremely cold temperatures in Wisconsin, and I am super jacked up about it because that means this Saturday I will be out in the middle of a frozen lake putting some tip-ups in the water and catching some beautiful, beautiful northern pike. So I'm very excited to get out ice fishing for the first time, and yes, that is my final thoughts. And you can find me on Twitter at John Jameson, and as always, we really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to us, and let's go Pack, and let's keep this win streak going. I mean, four straight losses turn into 4 straight wins, and hopefully 6 straight wins, and the Packers make the playoffs. Am I right or am I right? So
You are right.
Have a blessed week. Have a blessed week, Packer Nation, and we'll catch you back next week.